Friends, ladies and gentlemen, at this time we are going to begin the funeral services for Dr. Aaron G. Rosenberg. If you have a cell phone or a pager, I would ask for you to please take a moment to turn it off or make sure that it's in the silent mode. And officiating today's services will be Rabbi Ezra Balser.
We're here to mourn the passing of our beloved Dr. Aaron Rosenberg and honor and celebrate his life and legacy to his family, friends, the medical community, and the Jewish people. We don't always have the right words or have any words at all. Thankfully, we have a tradition that has some words to help us through this time. Begin with Psalm 121, a song of ascents. I turn my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help comes from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot give way. Your guardian will not slumber. See, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is your guardian. The Lord is your protection at your right hand. By day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from harm. He will guard your life. The Lord will guard your going and coming, now and forever. Shir lama'alot esai na'il ha'arim, ma'ayin yavo ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yiten lamod raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka, ve'yareach balayla. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra, yishmor nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzeitcha boecha, me'ata v'yad olam. We'll recite Psalm 23, which can also be found inside of the pamphlets. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Mizmor leDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar. Bino teshe yarbitzeni, al mei menuchot yaleni. Nafshi eshovev, nafshi eshovev. Yancheni b'magle tzedek, leman shemo. Gam ki elech begeitz almavet lo irara. Ki ata imadi shiftecha umishantecha. Shiftecha umishantecha hema yenachamuni. Taroch lefanai shulchan, taroch lefanai shulchan, taroch lefanai shulchan, neged sorerai. Dishanta b'shemen roshi, dishanta b'shemen roshi. Dishanta b'shemen roshi, kosi revaya. Ach tov achesed yirdefuni, kol yemei chayai, v'shavti beveit Adonai, v'shavti beveit Adonai liorech yamim. Nai 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 Nine 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 nine. Nine 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 nine. Nine 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 nine. Now invite Jessica to share a few words.
Dr. Aaron Glenn Rosenberg, orthopedic surgeon, professor, mentor, son, brother, husband, father, grampy, and now guardian angel. On 2/22/26 at 3:50 p.m., you took your last breath, surrounded and held by your family. I am forever grateful that you waited for Andrew and I to come home to say goodbye. Later that evening, something inside me wondered, what is the meaning of 222? So I decided to Google it. 222 is an angel number, signifying something about a form of language being sent to you from the other side. Angel numbers are repeating numbers that provide inspirational guidance, thought to be love messages from angels, spirits, or divine entities. Dad, thank you for giving us a sign. You know how much Mom and Cammie believed in signs. That was a good one. But then you left us more signs. Becca and I slept in yours and Mom's bed on that night. I wanted to be as close to you as possible in hopes that I'd wake up and it would just be a big nightmare. But it wasn't a nightmare. I saw your glasses on top of the last book you were reading before you went into the hospital. Aliens, Angels, and Demons, a Jewish book on extraterrestrial life. So I decided to check out your office, another room full of books. There on top of your desk were 15 brand new Haggadahs called the 30-Minute Seder. You knew how hard it was for us kids and grandkids to sit still during meals, so you planned one for this year. We promised to use them and remember all the years that you led our family holidays. It's our turn now, Dad. Thanks for teaching us. As many of you know, my dad was a highly respected surgeon and skilled teacher. All of his accomplishments, awards, publications, books, and success can easily be found online. So today, I'm not going to focus on the parts of my dad that Google can assist with. Instead, I'm going to talk about what you can't find on the internet or in any book. And that's the stories and the memories of him as a father, husband, and friend. 4 kids. That's a lot. You and Mom were a team, and together you gave us the world. While you worked long hours when we were kids, you were present for every birthday, every milestone, sporting event, school activity, graduation, and celebration. You were always so proud of us. You taught us how to be kind, respectful, curious, and even empathic. Many of my favorite memories as a child were during the extraordinary family vacations we went on together. Rosenberg vacations were not typical. They were special. because it was the only time during the year our family could be together without our dad working or school responsibilities taking place. It was our happy place and where so many positive memories began. I remember when we would have to bribe my dad to come outside in the sunshine. All he and Cody wanted to do was read books and research the meaning of life. Before Kindles and iPads, my dad would fill boxes and duffel bags full of books to ship on every vacation. That was our dad, always reading, always learning, and forever talking. Talking. Another hobby my dad excelled at. He loved to talk and lecture, professionally, but also to his family. The more knowledge he wanted to share and talk about with his loved ones, the more he read. And when he wasn't talking or reading, he was sending us articles to read, book chapters, videos, documentaries. Aaron G. Bone, that famous email never stopped and eventually spread to his friends and colleagues. And I'm sorry for all of you that have gotten spammed by him numerous times. Knowledge fed his soul, and all he wanted to do was give back to all of us. Mom, several months ago, Daddy and I were chatting. He told me that his success and happiness in life was all because of you. You were his true match. This was not the first or the second or even the third time he shared this. He told it often and he said it with pride. Something that I love about my mom and dad is that they made each other laugh. They laughed so hard and so deep that one night when I was living at home after college, I heard screaming coming from across the hall at 3 a.m. I ran down the hall thinking horrible things. What's going on? And there I found my mom and dad laughing so hard they were in tears. Why? Because my dad couldn't sleep and decided to annoy my mom by telling her every single punchline of every joke he knew. I would do anything to hear that laughter again from him. Dad, you are an extraordinary father and a devoted husband, but you are also a true friend. You were the most generous man I knew, and you would always put others first, always. The friendships you made were so strong and deep, you've grown our family. Family's not always blood, and you've taught us the importance of creating that support system. This last year, our dad would go on and on about what is his legacy. Was it a document? Was it a set of guidelines? What was it? A family code? For months, he would try to get my siblings and I to think about ways we could express his legacy and what that would be. But what he didn't know was that he is the legacy. It's not a document. It's not a patent, not a book, not a monetary value. It's you, Dad. Your character, your personality, your soul. You are the legacy, and I am honored to call you my father. We will miss you dearly and promise to take care of Mom. We will continue to live life and laugh and learn because we know that's what you would want. But for today, tomorrow, and weeks to come, we're going to feel sad. We're going to cry, and we're going to mourn together until you give us another sign. Thank you all for being here.
Cody?
Well, as Jessica has told you, my dad was a huge fan of humor. And last night, a joke came to me that my dad used to tell that resonated. I definitely cannot tell as good as he can, for as good of a joke teller as I am compared to my lovely siblings. I am not him. There will never be another him. But anyway, I'm sure the joke that many of you have heard goes something like this. A rabbi was on his deathbed. He was a remarkably wise man, a once in a generation kind of person. And his students came from all over, from his village, from the village over, from the villages beyond the horizon. And on when they knew it was his death was nigh, his most fervent student was pressured by the whole community to get just one last grain of wisdom from him, to find out what was this all for? Why are we here? And his student went up to the rabbi's room, had a conversation with him, and when he came down, he told the people the answer of life, the universe, and everything. Why are we here? And it was this: life is like a bowl of hot soup. And when it made so much sense coming from the rabbi, with his conviction and full knowingness that he was right, no one knew what he meant. And so his most fervent student went back up and asked the Rabbi, I know that you're dying. I know you're not long, but we all must know, what do you mean when you said that life is like a bowl of hot soup? And the rabbi just looks at his student and says, you mean life's not like a bowl of hot soup? And that's the thing. Life is like a bowl of hot soup. We have all this busyness around us, containing us like a bowl. We have all the vegetables, all the meats. That's the people that we love. We have the broth, the community that we share. And when I look at all the people that were here, when I think of all the people that couldn't be here and are kicking themselves for it, and when I think about all the people that my dad's touched, who don't even realize what a profound impact he had on their lives, it clicked. And it pains me that I will never be able to have a conversation with him to share these kinds of little insights into life. But I hope that I can make a soup of my own, as all you can. As one filled with the kind of love, compassion, humor that makes life worth living. Dad, love you. And I will carry what bits of your wisdom that you've imparted on me for the rest of my life, as I know all of you will. Thank you.
To invite his oldest friend, Jody.
With great sadness, but also great pride, that I'm here today to talk about the most remarkable man who's ever walked in this generation. And I would be shocked if there's any other generation that will ever produce a man as wise and as wonderful, as compassionate and loving and gifted as Aaron. My name is Jody Sheffield, and Aaron and I grew up across the street from one another when we were young children. We were classmates from kindergarten through high school graduation, and we remained close friends for the past 68 years. I'd like to begin by reading a poem by Rabbi Morris Adler, who wrote this to help mourners navigate grief. I came upon this several years ago in the Kaddish section of a prayer book, and I thought it was appropriate to read this poem today as we remember Aaron, a man who truly was a star in every aspect of his life. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. Aaron was a man whose light shined upon us. He was a truly brilliant star, providing knowledge, wisdom, and insight to those who were so fortunate to know him. Aaron was a bright star as a physician, surgeon, inventor, educator, and mentor to countless people. And of course, Aaron was a giant star, shining star for his family and friends. Aaron's light was also one of strength and determination. He was a man with extremely high aspirations and principles for himself, which I believe inspired countless others to reach for their very own stars. I was honored and blessed to have called Aaron my ever-present and cherished friend all these many years. In my mind's eye, I can see Aaron in hundreds of simple moments, as well as the milestones in our lives and our children's lives. I can see him as a little boy playing catch in the neighbor's yard. I can see him running to the top of the hills at summer's dusk as we played at the construction site that became our grammar school. In a flash, I see him at the Passover table, in our classrooms at synagogue and at high school. And then my dearest friend took off for her 6-year medical school program in Rensselaer, New York. But our friendship continued to evolve every year, becoming deeper and more valuable to both of us. Over the years, we often discussed that we were more like brother and sister without the emotional overlay of family dynamics. And I was truly touched. If I close my eyes, I can see Aaron and Iris in their apartment at 1600 LaSalle. I see them running down Wells Street on their runs to all their favorite spots. I see us together at jazz clubs, theater, movies, restaurants, and each other's homes. I could go on and on. Aaron was the constant in my life, a constant presence of love, compassion, support, and acceptance. He was a source of laughter, fun, and creating new experiences. When we were young, I was in awe of Aaron's quest and wealth of knowledge, which grew daily throughout his entire life. I was astounded by his energy and tenacity. Aaron could accomplish more in one day than most people could in a week, perhaps even in a month. But in truth, Aaron's great passion for life, along with his generosity of spirit and his incredible emotional intelligence, are what made him so uniquely and undeniably charismatic. Unlike other great minds, Aaron's IEQ was off the charts. He captured everyone's attention when he walked into a room. He was powerful but gentle, highly accomplished but approachable. Aaron could strike up a conversation with anybody and really enjoy it. Aaron's humor and wit was endearing, and he sure could tell a good joke. But as intellectual as he was, Aaron was able to find humor in simply inane forms. For the past few months, he had been sending me Instagram videos of this Boca mom. She is ridiculously and obnoxiously funny, But I never would have guessed that Aaron would be following her. Truly, he never ceased to surprise and amaze me. I could go on and on about Aaron and all his accomplishments, as Jess said, from medical honors and award-winning research to his simple love of reading, art, music, playing his guitar. Aaron was the consummate Renaissance man. During all of our decades, we continued to explore and study together, sharing a journey of spiritual growth. This journey stemmed from our many years together at Beth Emmet Synagogue in Evanston, from Sunday school all the way through confirmation and then post-confirmation. We were intrigued by discussing everything in the world, from relationships and family life, Judaism, other religions, science, afterlife, literature, art, theater, music, politics. The list, as we well know, that Aaron could talk about these topics was endless, and he was an expert on all of it. Everyone knows that Aaron often recited complex ideas, theories, hypotheses from various scholarly sources. But did you know that Aaron also appreciated sources like Mr. Rogers? In 2016, he posted the following Mr. Rogers quote on Facebook. "Love isn't a state of perfect caring. It is an active noun like struggle. To love someone is to strive to accept that person exactly the way he or she is, right here and now." And that was Aaron, an intellectual heavyweight who was always striving to become a better man, to gain more knowledge, insight, spirituality, to become more patient and tolerant and accepting. And Aaron had an enormous capacity to love, and no love was stronger than his love of his family. He adored and deeply loved his wife, Iris, since he was a young man, and they were married for almost 50 years. Aaron and Iris developed a genuine partnership, a beautiful partnership, and created a wonderful family together. First AJ, then Jess, Becca, and Cody. And your dad was so proud of each one of you, and you brought immense joy and happiness to his life. The Rosenberg family has quickly grown, which made Aaron absolutely joyous. He respected and appreciated Stephanie, Andrew, and Alice, and welcomed them into the clan with love and loyalty. And the grandchildren, they so enriched his life over these past years. They were all blessings. Each one brought so much laughter and joy into Aaron's life, making it brighter and fuller. He loved them deeply. 2 years ago, in honor of Aaron's 70th, I wrote him a letter trying to thank him for a lifetime of friendship, love, and support. At that point, his world had become much smaller as his health and mobility declined. But Aaron continued to confront his illness with strength and tenacity by squeezing every drop of joy that he could out of his very constrained but rich life. He learned how to look for the small moments of joy that he could extract throughout the days as he strung them together into a strand of rare jewels. Aaron very much valued his time and conversations with family and friends, his reading and prayers. And as recently as 2 weeks ago, Aaron told me that he had begun to really look forward to watching movies with his devoted friend and companion, John. In the letter I sent Aaron on his 70th, I included this wish. May you continue to bless all you love with your generous heart and spirit. May you continue to find small moments of joy and gratitude every day, even on the most challenging of days. May you cherish the love from all who love you. And Aaron certainly did. He did all of that and more, with dignity and love and a full heart. To me, there will never be a more incredible man than Aaron. The phrase, "he was a king amongst men," may not have been written with Aaron in mind, but it certainly applies to him and his life. While Aaron is irreplaceable in my heart, his lessons on life, his wisdom and love, his generosity and acceptance will guide me, and I think all of us, for the rest of our lives, and continue to light up our darkest nights. For Aaron, to me, was and will continue to be the brightest of stars. Aaron, your life was a magnificent blessing for us all. Thank you, my treasured friend and the brother of my heart. Rest in peace.
AJ? I purposely didn't look behind when we walked in because I didn't want to see the people that were here. I did that for a reason because I wanted to look at everybody when I came up here to see the people that were here. I'm going to have to try to look away from some people just because I'm going to get emotional if I look at them, and I apologize. Because I know there's a couple people here that was not easy for them to be here. I'm not going to spend too much time talking. I think my sister, my brother, and Jody did a really good job of highlighting my dad. And I wasn't even sure if I was going to speak today from the standpoint of two reasons. One, if I would be able to. And two, I never, ever walk away from an opportunity to speak in front of a bunch of people. And I usually have, a shtick that I never prepare any talks or anything like that because I just like to wing it. And most of the time, what my dad taught me is that generally the best talks or best presentations that you give are ones that are not prepared. I think we all know how much this man meant to each and every single one of us in here, or have an understanding or appreciation how much he meant to every single one of us up here. We all know my dad as a mentor, an educator, a father, and he worked a lot. We know that. And he had high expectations of his family, of his friends, all the people that surrounded him. And he had, one of his favorite sayings is, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Or if it's not a lesson, it's a blessing. And so I think all of us can take a little piece away from his sayings, his wisdom, his advice. And we all take it at different points in our lives and come at different points of our lives and have different impact at different points of our lives. He is very sick over the last 5 years, battling an autoimmune disease that we could not figure out what it was. And his perspective on life changed. And his perspective, in particular, in the last, 10, 11 months, drastically changed.
And a new saying that he would constantly say is that you can't control the cards that you were dealt. You can simply control how you played them. And I always found that funny, and in particular, talking about that with some of his dearest friends and more recently. And many of you may know that I'm a fairly avid poker player, and play on a weekly basis with Possible. And what I told him is that you pick the games that you play at. So even though you're dealt the cards you're dealt and you play them how you play it, you still have a choice of where you play those games. And that, I think, sums it up pretty well to me, is that even though life can throw you curveballs, you still have choices to make. How you respond to them, how you react to them, and how you move forward from them. Just as I know that he'd want all of us to love him, mourn him, but also move on and carry a little bit of him with you in your choices that you make moving forward. And all that I ask is leave this place and this world a better place than you came into it. Make a difference where you can. Pick up a piece of garbage when you're walking home. Do an act of kindness, because you have no idea what those little simple things can do in the long run. I love you all. Thank you for being here. I'm looking at my little son just passed out sick as could be up here. So I don't want to keep anyone any longer. I know he is probably ready to be put in the ground. And so I welcome everyone here to attend the ceremony or the cemetery. I know it's cold. That's why we also chose this teak here, so that we could keep that portion short. And then you're all welcome to participate in that process. Thank you.
Aaron was a larger-than-life figure. He loved to laugh. He was serious about his work, his endless pursuit of knowledge, and making sure his family was well cared for and prepared for their lives. Aaron was the beloved husband of Iris, loving father of AJ, Jessica, Becca, and Cody, and adored Grampy of Briggs, Winnie, Maggie, and Sophia, devoted family of Camellia, Cosmin, John, and Anna. Aaron was well known for his sharp intellect. And maybe the smartest thing he ever realized came one October evening. It was Kol Nidre, so the whole community was together. Iris was sitting with her family. Her dad kept telling her that a few rows back, there was some guy that she must have known from Hebrew school. She looked back, and while there was a group of guys, all she saw was Aaron. Of course, Aaron's version was slightly different. He noticed the hot blonde sitting a few rows up and wondered if she was dating the older guy she was sitting next to. He was interested, but so were the other brothers. There are some kids here, so I'll say Aaron kindly told them to back off in a way that only Aaron could do. And that was that. They started dating immediately, and within the year, they were engaged. Our mystical tradition, what we call Kabbalah, which Aaron was very fond of, as is written in the Zohar, believes that every soul is created as male and female together. Then they are separated into two bodies, and they have to find each other. Marriage binds them together again. I cannot help but think of you, Iris, and Aaron as the epitome of this wisdom. Truly one soul. Dr. Rosenberg was world-renowned in his field of orthopedics and orthopedic surgery. And that is not just something you say. He was invited to give over 2,000 lectures all over the world. One of the things people don't quite get, as the family was telling me, was how much of a legend he was in the medical field and how much he accomplished. Becca mentioned that one time she was playing in a water polo tournament in London. In some downtime, Becca figured, I'll go to a medical museum and check out some fetuses. And next to a section about prosthetics and implants, there was a blurb about Aaron. Who would have expected that? Yet his impact was indeed felt all over the world. And while he was a doctor, the specifics of his care began with seeing the person in front of him, looking into their eyes and seeing them as a full person. In the Hasidic tradition, we believe that every person and everything has a divine spark in them. Aaron understood this, as he knew that patient care, seeing the person in front of you for a whole person, not just a file on a clipboard, was a way to understand people and be closer to God. That was true of his patients, or the custodial staff, or parking attendants. Everyone was a human and got treated with dignity. Not only humans have that divine spark, but also things. And Aaron took great care to find divine purpose in all things, like looking at a piece of wood and seeing that has to be carved into a guitar, like he did with John in the garage. Yet in all that he accomplished, it was in Aaron's later years that he may have reached his peak, when he became a grampy. As a grandfather, his sweetness came out and he overflowed. In Proverbs and Mishle, it's taught that grandchildren are the crown of the elders. Teret zkenim b'nei banim. This is something that Aaron lived deeply, and everyone around him could see it and feel it. One of the many lessons that Aaron tried to teach his children was the value of hard work. You heard AJ mention it, and many people, Jessica mentioned it yesterday when we were meeting. He would often say, there's no free lunch. The rabbis in the Talmud teach that if you see someone who says they worked hard and succeeded, you should believe them. Yagati umatzati ta'amen. Hard work works. One cannot be successful and bear the fruits of that success without putting in the effort. In the Shema, God tells us to teach the Torah to your children. Vishinantam levanecha. Vishinantam, the Hebrew word, implies repetition. There is no free lunch was a Torah that was often repeated so that his children would learn. Another important mantra of Aaron's was, just like AJ mentioned, you can't help the cards you are dealt, but you can control how you play them. When we were discussing this yesterday, AJ, you recalled how when you found out that you were dyslexic, Aaron told you, okay, life isn't going to be easy. Now you have to work twice as hard to be the leader I know you are meant to be. Our rabbis taught, who is a true hero? One who overcomes what is inside of them. Ezehu Gibor Hakovesh et Yitzro. This too is the Torah of Aaron. One of the things that most defined Aaron was his love of teaching and mentoring. I asked the family if Aaron collected anything, and besides endless books, guitars, and apparently anything that could come from Amazon, they all mentioned he collected students and people to mentor. Our tradition believes that if you make for yourself a teacher, you also acquire a friend. Aselecha rav uknelecha chaver. However, when it came to Aaron, I feel like it was the reverse. When he took on a student, he would acquire a friend. I don't know if I ever told you this, but whenever I would post on social media something about Judaism or a class I was teaching or thoughts I had or workout clips or anything about Israel, I would frequently get a message of encouragement from Aaron. He was one of, if not my biggest fan. He wanted to help me help the Jewish people. And I used to think I was special. And yet the more I hear from so many over the past days, I bet there are so many people in this room and around the world who Aaron took under his wing and helped them and encouraged them to do great things. Aaron was the special one. So many students, so many friends. Aaron, doctor, husband, father, grampy, teacher, friend. It is now time to say goodbye. Rest well, knowing your legacy and your teachings penetrated the hearts of so many. We'll now rise to offer up a prayer for Aaron's soul through the El Maleh. Exalted and compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Aaron Rosenberg, who has gone to his eternal home. Merciful one, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. El Maleh Rachamim, Shochen Bamramim, Hamtzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Ashchina, B'malot Kedoshim Uterim, Kezohar Rakia Mazhirim, Et Nishmat Aaron ben Moshe, Shalach Leolamo, Began Eden Tiyeh Menuchato, Ana Bala Rachamim, Mastireu B'Seder Knafecha Leolamim, Utzror B'Tzor HaChaim Nishmato, Adonai Nachlato, V'Enuch B'Shalom Mishkavo, V'Nomar, Amen. You can be seated.
Friends, this concludes the services here in the chapel. The interment and burial services will continue at Shalom Memorial Park in Arlington Heights. For those of you traveling with us to the cemetery and the funeral procession, please do keep the following safety precautions in mind. Please make sure that your bright headlights and your four-way hazard flashes are on at all times. Please be sure to obtain an orange funeral safety sticker for your windshield, and we will be providing several of the cars in the procession with a magnetic orange flag to be placed on top of the car. Please travel as close as safety permits to the car in front of you to avoid any gaps in our procession. And for your own safety and security, I would suggest not speaking or texting while driving to the cemetery. As we make our way through the intersections, feel free to use your horn liberally. And again, please try to stay as close as safety permits to the car in front of you. Following the interment, the family will be returning to the Rosenberg residence at 200 Oakmont Drive in Deerfield. They'll be together today as they return from the cemetery until 8 p.m. Tomorrow, Thursday, from 9 until 12, and resuming from 2 until 8 p.m., and Friday from 9 until 2 p.m. That information is available in the service folder that you should have received when you came in, and for those of you joining us online, that information is available on our website. Finally, the family has requested that any memorial contributions in his memory to any Jewish or medical charity of your choice. At this time, I would ask everyone to please rise and stand in place. And for those of you who've been asked to serve as pallbearers, family members and friends, if you'll come forward, the pallbearers to my left, as we escort the family, the casket, and the rabbi from the chapel.